I want you to take her with you to Boston. Find someone to bring her up and make sure that she's safe.
I can't do that.
And I want you to give her this. Her name is Ellie.
Hey, I'm Derek.
And I'm Noah. You're listening to A Bite of,
where we take our current favorite pop culture obsession and enjoy it one nibble at a time.
You're doing a lot of head movement.
I was trying to say it as clearly as possible. It's a lot of words.
Yeah. We didn't we didn't skimp on the intro words.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I say it so quickly it's just like cow.
Yeah.
So I tried to slow it down today.
Okay.
After
9 weeks, we made it to the end of The Last of Us, episode 9. The shortest one in the series. I can't.
Yeah. It was like, what?
We have a lot to talk about, obviously, of the series as a whole, the ending of this chapter, and then what to expect going forward to season 2.
What does the future hold for the two pair here? What are they going to do? Is it giraffes? More giraffes, please.
No, that's it. It's the only giraffe in the series.
Oh.
Yeah, goodbye.
All right, better off. You know what? Don't bring them back because, I don't want them to die. Fine.
Well, speaking of better off, what better off way to start your day than to make sure you're subscribing to this podcast? Because that's how you get all the episodes on your feeds.
You
for
got
your stuff.
there. You got there, baby.
Yeah, follow it, subscribe, whatever you want to do.
You like us on the Facebook. You follow us on the Twitter.
And to stop Derek from doing that Italian accent, we have a Patreon.
Wow.
If you like this show, if you want to support the show, if this is your first time listening to our show on the very last episode, we're covering this show. You get bonus episodes, discounts on merch, free stuff, all the great stuff. It's all in there.
You like it a bonus.
For $1. You get all that.
One whole $1.
I was waiting for it again.
99 cents plus one.
Last but not least, leave that review. Give us some stars. Say some kind words. It's very nice. It's how we emotionally get paid for doing this. It's for reviews. We want to get as many reviews this year as we can. So just put some stars up on there. Leave some nice words.
Please.
That'd be nice.
Please.
So before we get into talking about the final episode of The Last of Us, we wanted to take a short little moment. If you follow us on social media, you know that we unfortunately lost our girl Lola. Terrible few months since September. So, and some of you have been so kind. Many of you actually been so kind with words, with support financially and emotionally. So it's been, very rough, but we very much appreciate all the very kind things that you guys have done for us. And it's been, I don't know, it's kind of one of those things where you take a step back and it's like, oh, people care,
Yeah. People, you all have been so wonderful and so supportive, echoing everything that Noah is saying. But there's one thing I really kind of have noticed is how important pets are to folks. People understand that pets are family. And when you lose one, it is like losing a member of the family. So thank you for being so sensitive. Thank you for being patient with us throughout this entire thing. And just know that personally, I am on the brink of tears/insanity at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
So if this episode feels delirious for any reason, just know that is why.
Yeah. The asterisk for the episode is, why.
Yes. And, just to reflect on, we've had a really, really hard month and a half with this stuff with Lola. And the fact that we were covering The Last of Us, which is like one of the most emotionally trying properties, it's just been a mindfuck completely.
Not our best decision, but who would have known? So,
oh gosh.
Again, thank you so much.
Yes.
It's been tough, but we wanted to get this episode out, and that way we can end that chapter and, give you guys some smiles, because you guys gave us some smiles when it was hard. So thank you. On to the episode. Let's go. Because this one is super bright and great.
All right. So let's take the last look back at The Last of Us, episode 8, When We Are in Need. Ellie cares for Joel, who lays on the brink of death. Noticing a growing infection in his wound, she sets out to look for food. Ellie runs into David and James from the old cult down the street.
Okay.
James brings back penicillin, and it is revealed that the pair actually know that Ellie is with Joel, who killed one of their members. Later, Ellie is kidnapped and discovers that David's group is not only a cult, but a cannibalistic one at that.
Okay. Only a few of them know. I'm just going to put that out there.
Delicious. She manages to escape David's lecherous clutches, killing him and losing her innocence in the process. Joel finds her covered in blood and comforts the traumatized Ellie.
Cool. Okay. Finale. Okay. Spoiler alert for The Last of Us, including the first part of the game and all of that. So
let us officially take a bite of The Last of Us, episode 9, Look for the Light.
Which is the continuation from the first episode. Which is great.
Full circle moment.
Yeah, there's quite a few full circle moments in this finale. I will say, just at the start of us talking about this, I want to put it out there that I do feel like this is a very much like Games of Thrones-y way of doing a season, where the penultimate episode is like the intense whatever, like the climactic part of the season almost. I'm not saying necessarily for emotional arcs, but that's how Game of Thrones did it. And then the finale was more the aftermath and then setting it up for the next season. So I did get that feeling a little bit with this one, even though I knew it was coming.
Yeah, I agree. It was interesting. Like you said, it was the shortest episode of the season. And it was like things happened, but did they happen? And the way that they happened felt like, I don't know, there were some very intense things that were happening, but they like amped up the music while it was happening. So you weren't, I don't know, it was an interesting episode, especially for a season finale.
Let's get into it. We should just like tear this apart like a clicker, because the cold open was, we got one. We got one final cold open, and it was so, as a fan of this property, it meant a lot. But also, I realized I didn't want to see it. You know, like it was one of those things where we knew that Ellie doesn't have family and that she was taken and she was an orphan and she was put into the federal school. That's how we know Ellie. That's where we meet her. So to see, it is nice to see what her mother went through to make sure Ellie was safe. And we do get hints now of, oh, this is how she's immune.
Yeah.
So she was born that way, but it was from external circumstances.
It was like she received an inoculation.
Yeah, she got a vaccine.
Right. She was given a tiny bit of the virus and her body learned how to fight it. And that's how it happened.
So her mom, Anna, is played by none other than the amazing, the stellar, the fantastic, you might know her from Critical Role or from The Last of Us series, playing as Ellie, Ashley Johnson.
Yes. So I know Ashley Johnson. Ashley Johnson has been in the biz since she's a little kid.
Yeah.
A little kid. She was in Growing Pains. She played the new little sister that they added on. She was in a show called Phenom that I really liked with Judith Light. So it's interesting that she kind of moved from, I mean, she's in front of the camera now, but she did a lot of voice acting. And
she has it. Yes. She has that voice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so to see her as I knew her as a little girl and then into voice acting and now as this full, fledged adult actor, it was a cool journey for me, even for someone who didn't play the game.
Yeah, I love seeing, ever since the show came out, a lot of people, since it's a mainstream now, they're playing the games and they're finding the behind the scenes footage that has been out there for a while. And I love seeing Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker in the motion capture suits doing the scenes.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. These voice actors, it's on the level of like, I would say that Ashley Johnson, her voice mostly sounds like this, like Ellie, but you almost don't expect that voice to come out because it does sound younger than who she is. And so just to see the voice coming out of it, but then to hear Ellie's voice as she's playing Ellie's mom. So she gave birth to Ellie in both ways. She literally did in the show, but she also gave her life in the game.
Poetry.
Full circle.
Another full circle.
Yeah, I told you, the theme is full circle.
Holy
here.
smokes, there's so many circles. Yeah. Wow.
But this cold open was so it was intense. We knew something was going to happen, but we didn't really know what happened to her mom. But to see how much she fought to make sure Ellie was born safe, even to the last moment, while in labor, killing a stalker as it's running at her. She's just badass.
Yo, these stalkers, they're using Google Maps. They're finding all the routes, breaking into homes, going upstairs. Get out of here, lady.
Well, so I think this is explicitly one of the first times we've seen a stalker in the show, because these are the ones that are like sneaky, will hide and pounce on the prey. These are like, I would say, like juvenile infected, because you have the infected, which are runners. They're just violent and running. Then you got the stalkers, where it kind of calm down a little bit and know that they have to like wait to pounce. And so they usually run on all fours. And this is like the first time we really saw that. And I was like, oh, okay. Yep. They got it in the season. They checked all the boxes.
Yeah. And in this very emotional moment, there has to be some sort of BuzzFeed quiz about what type of infected you are.
I don't want to be any.
I'm a bloater for sure. Slow moving and strong.
And blind. They all go
my
blind. God. But this scene was great. I think that having the connection between Marlene and Anna was great, because it gave that deeper connection to Marlene, and then made the decision and the kind of just cut off, emotionally, that she had in the hospital at the end of this episode a little harder to swallow, because she was there. She took Ellie from her mom. She was supposed to keep her safe. And then in the end, she's ready to give her up.
Yeah, she saved her to later kill her.
Yeah.
You have to wonder about the Marlene character and saying, where did the switch happen? Where did it happen that she saved this child, gave her up essentially to Fedra at some point, and then knew that she had to kill her?
Well, yeah. I mean, how long has she not been with her? Because she was in Fedra school, and how long was it since Marlene wasn't with her? So I don't know if she was able to detach a little bit.
To me, I guess you're right. It kind of did feel like she took the baby and dropped her off.
Yeah.
It was very much a, infant in a basket at the doorstep sort of thing.
She's a little baby Moses. But I mean, and the fact that she had to kill her childhood friend, she gets infected. And when Marlene finds her, she knows that she has to kill her, even though she's begging her. She's like, Ellie's fine. Ellie's fine. We know that she actually got bit before she was able to cut the umbilical cord. I keep wanting to say umbilical cord. It's not right.
Biblical.
Umbilical cord.
Umbilical.
Yeah. But good thing she didn't, because that's what made her immune.
Hello.
Yeah.
One of the things that's so funny is that I saw a lot of articles that like, finally, The Last of Us explains why Ellie is immune. I never really needed a justification. I mean, I liked being able to see it. Like, I was like, oh, that makes sense. But to me, it was always like, she's just the chosen one for some reason.
Yeah.
Something in her is just immune. So it was just interesting. It's like funny to see that people really needed to know why.
I think I really appreciated it. And it's one of the fun things about watching this show is that they can expand on some of those things. But I think I'm with you. I don't think I ever really needed to know why, but it's great that they gave us that.
I feel like when I was watching this episode, a lot of this episode for me was just kind of like, oh yeah, okay, got it. Like I felt like almost like they were giving us this information, and I was like, oh, I see. And I wonder if I had an attachment to the game more, if it would have meant more to me, like seeing Anna, seeing this all play out. Marlene, as a character for me, she was only with us for the first episode, and then she disappeared.
Well, that's how it really is in the game too. I've seen some people say like, "Oh, Tommy really wasn't in it." This character really wasn't in it, and that's how it is in the game. It's really Joel and Ellie the whole time, and then they run into all these people. But if you look at it, if you kind of step back for a second, look at these 9 episodes and see how many people they showed and like the extent of what they showed of them, it's quite a lot. And I think they did a good job of introducing these characters, us loving them or having some type of attachment to them. And then, of course, all of them dying. But I think that just goes to their storytelling and the writing and the game itself. So, yeah, I it's them. It's Joel and Ellie, which is great. I think we do need it for the first season. Because it really sets up the second one.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, the last episode really had so much action and so much character development. And this was just like, it felt like the road to get us to that final moment.
Yeah. Yeah. The road to the hospital, I think, is a very interesting thing that happens in the story, because you have Ellie after the David stuff. There's been some time that's passed and they're going to Salt Lake City because that's where they know that the Fireflies are at, or they hope that they're there. And Ellie is trying to deal with what happened. You know, she's trying to process it, and she's growing up very, very fast. And then you have Joel completing his emotional arc. He's went from losing his daughter to now gaining one. And not only that, but being completely open with Ellie and flat out telling her everything, telling her about Sarah, saying her name to Ellie, and then also saying where he got the scar from. It was him trying to kill himself because of what happened with Sarah. And that's also why he's forever going to be mostly deaf on that side. It's beautiful, but then it's interesting because they almost teeter.
Right, exactly. It's almost like if they were standing at opposite ends of the spectrum, instead of meeting in the middle, they just walked to the other end.
Right.
They didn't meet each other in any common ground. He's completely open emotionally now, and she's completely closed off. So it was almost hard to watch as a viewer, because Ellie was the one that brought levity to the relationship, and to see her completely shut down was sad. And the fact that Joel is now trying so hard, to be like wanting her to open up, and we're on the same page and we're finally here for each other, and not getting that response from her. It felt like almost like a disappointment for all of us.
It was defeating.
Yeah,
it was a little defeating. He tried, though. He was like, look, I found Chef Boyardee. Like he thought that would get something out of her.
Oh my gosh. What is it? Like something aroni or whatever.
Beefaroni.
There you go.
Come on.
We weren't a Chef Boyardee family.
That's sad. I was a military brat, so of course we were.
Yeah, I think I had Chef Boyardee once during Lent, the cheese ravioli, because you couldn't eat meat on Fridays.
So, okay.
And we were just like...
So you really splurged and got
We were just like, ooh, we're going to have it. We're going to try it. And we were like, this is really sweet. Why is this so sweet?
The cheese one probably isn't the best one to do.
You got to go for classic beefaroni.
Yeah, you got to...
Blame Joni. I don't know.
Joni.
Mom.
Yeah, we know you're listening.
We know you're listening.
Send Derek a can. Oh, no, you don't eat beef. Dang it.
She'd probably be like, what? I gave my kids fresh pasta. What do you want? Get pizza. Yeah. Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad. Bye.
But yeah, so the giraffe scene in this, hold on real quick. Let's talk about the giraffe. Okay, before...
Yeah, let's do it.
We actually talk
so
about
tall.
The meaning of this should be. Yeah, that's what makes it a giraffe.
Look at that neck.
Both Derek and I thought it was a CGI giraffe. 100% thought it was, because it just gave that feel. And I'm sure some of it was CGI, but no, they released behind the scenes photos and it's a real giraffe.
Mama, she was from the zoo, baby. She came over and said, hey.
They had to work for weeks to like bring these giraffes. Giraffes? What's a group of giraffes called?
Necks. A neck of giraffes.
Tower, because they're tall.
Oh.
Ooh, is that probably right?
Maybe.
Comment below. What is a group?
Hey Siri.
Well, I like how we use our listeners as Google.
Well, we don't want to break up the flow of the episode to look stuff up. So thank you all so much for helping us in this production. You little angels. Yeah. You little beauties.
But yeah, I thought it was CGI. It's not. It's kind of cool to, think that it wasn't.
I was watching and I was going, that giraffe ain't eating nothing. That ain't real. It's not. It's the leaves are real. Everything's fake.
It wasn't.
I was flabbergasted and blown away and excited. I also want to say that I was very excited. I don't know. I kept waiting for something horrible to happen to the giraffe because, like, what were they in, like a stadium of some sort? Right?
Yeah, something.
Listen, these giraffes created a beautiful little society in the stadium, and then we got David down the road eating his friends.
Right. That's
Hello?
what I'm saying. Well, I mean, they're like the next state over, but yeah.
Whatever. Down 2 roads.
He could have tried. Could have tried harder. We said this in the last episode. Like, Ellie found meat that was not human within 30 minutes. And
Tell you what, David wasn't a real leader. He was a little bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he just wanted to eat people. Like,
Hello?
I think that's what it came down to.
Sicko. Cuckoo.
All right,
sicko.
let's not talk about David. I don't want to talk about him.
Fine. Draft. But anyway, nothing bad happened to the giraffes.
No, and something
Tower
good
of
happened
Giraffes.
mostly in Joel seeing Ellie be a kid. Like, he's seeing this moment of like, oh, what happened to her didn't completely break her. Like, she's going to be able to heal just like I am. And he does that smile. He does that Pedro Pascal smile. And I'm like, oh, he's a full dad now.
It was very like much a bizarre moment in the sense of like people take their kids to the zoo all the time, right? And so it's like this dad taking his child to the zoo, having this feed the giraffes experience that they probably paid extra for. But it's like, hold up, backdrop, apocalypse, something horrible just happened. So it was like this really bizarre, like it was like a fighting of these themes of like something wholesome but happening in a horrible backdrop.
That's Last
of Us.
Yeah. You got it. You figured it out.
Remember Bill and Frank?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Strawberries?
I do really like in this episode too that they added another game mechanic that is very well known between people that play the game, and it's the ladder passing. He does it in the game where he has to put Ellie up somewhere to get the ladder to. I mean, she threw it at him this time, but that's something that does happen in the game. I like those little things because they make sense for the show. Like, you wouldn't think that would be in the game, but as the game player, it's like, oh, that's really cool that they made sure to add that because they didn't need to add the going from point A to point B.
Sure.
But it's just so cool. I like those little nods that they do.
Yeah.
It makes me feel nice and seen.
I remember when I did that in the game years yonder, a decade ago.
Yeah.
I was once a young Ellie.
I will say, though, like, that game, oh, man, if you ever want a good laugh, especially with The Last of Us in the realm of that,
Rare.
go on to TikTok and look up the hashtag, but look up like the glitches or bugs that happen.
Ooh.
Because Ellie sometimes she bugs out and it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's a scene there's one that I saw where Joel and Tess are talking and Ellie is literally upside down and spinning uncontrollably. And they're talking about something very serious. And I'm like, this is amazing.
Breakdancing, watch this.
She just couldn't stop. And loved it. But side note, but if you want a little giggle, go ahead and
I could use a Last of Us giggle.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
Okay. It's not okay.
The final big scene of this series.
La scena del finale.
Or the season, I should say, because we know it's getting a season 2.
Maybe 3?
They take Joel and Ellie. They knock him out first.
Oof.
Take him. And Marlene is there to welcome Joel with some fireflies.
Let me... Ugh. No, go on. I'm sorry.
You're allowed to talk.
I'm just so... I hate her. I hate her. I hate her. Okay? Listen, I hate her. She, in the beginning, couldn't trust her firefly, right? Then, guess what? She's like, oh, Joel, you gotta bring her cross country. Surprise, I got there before you.
Well, he was literally dying.
If Marlene could have taken her herself, she should have did it.
Well, Derek.
What? Tell me.
I will defend it only in the aspect of she had to heal. And then they got sidetracked a bunch of times.
I'm just saying, Marlene, if you were planning on going yourself, you could have done it.
Well, yeah, but they had to get out. So
I'm just saying. And then on top of it, she just very, blasé is like, yeah, well, guess what? She's in surgery. So
Yeah. I mean, so the whole decision at the end, again, choices. The whole thing is about choices and what happens to them. There's a couple layers here that I want to talk about because I feel like they're not easy things to talk about. And it's very like one way or the other. There's no good people in this show. There's really not. And except for Sam.
Oh,
really? I mean, Sam is like the best one out of all of them. But there's also, what is morality? What does that mean in a world that is inherently violent and you're always going to have to be that way? It's kill or be killed. So not only do she doesn't give Joel the full information, and she didn't expect Joel to grow an attachment to her. She didn't expect Joel to take that long to take her there. He had a car. That was the plan. They knock her out and are going to put her in surgery without telling her. Not only that, is she's going to die. So they did not tell her any of that. They knocked him out with the thing, and then that was going to be it. So very bad decision telling Joel that.
right.
And then Joel has the decision of, do I let them do what we literally are coming here to do, or do I stop it? And in that decision, supposedly not saving humanity. Yikes. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
Mama, humanity already done dead. They're gone. I mean, at this point, everybody's terrible. Well, most people are.
Yeah.
I feel like out of the groups that we've met throughout this series together, there were a lot of large factions of bad people. And the fact that they would expect Joel to, I don't know, sacrifice this person that he's had such a bond with, who's basically become his daughter, for all these horrible people that they just met, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, I see the debate, I see where the debate could be, but I was kind of like, no, this makes sense. He's making the right decision right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the trolley problem. Have you seen The Good Place? It's
or taking Philosophy 101 in college, like I did.
Which we all did when you watched The Good Place.
True.
When it's, is saving, one life more than saving a few, or is it, saving this many worth saving this many? It's murder, regardless. But I think you bring up a good point, because okay, humanity sucks. Not all of them. Maybe the kids, it does suck for them, but this is the world they know. And if we just think about like the scientific side of it, it was one of the things that bothered me in the games, and it bothered me again when I replayed this part. You have this one guy, his name is Jerry, by the way.
Good old Jerry.
And their plan is to, I don't know if he's like a scientist and like a neurosurgeon or both.
He was pre-med.
Yeah. But it sounds like a pre-med experiment, because he's going to destroy his one subject that's immune to hopefully create a vaccine from her brain. I just think like maybe taking some spinal fluid first, or
there you go,
putting her blood into some, like, trying to do all the processes first.
Yeah, they went from 0 to 100 immediately.
And
I
just like, I don't want to like be like, this ruins it. It does not ruin it for me.
No,
I will say that, but it is flimsy at best.
Well, I guess there's something to be said about people grasping at straws, but I also think that yeah, that's the thing, is that it's a vaccine, which cool, but there are millions of infected out there. It's not going to cure the millions of infected people. Like, yes, it'll protect you when you have to maybe come up against them.
I think that's the point.
But it's like, if killing Ellie meant that you can heal the millions of infected people, maybe. But it's like, just to protect like the cannibals.
Well,
no.
I think that's the thing though. Like, how, if you think about it logistically, and I think today or this week is like the anniversary of 3 years since COVID and the pandemic and everything.
Oh my gosh, yes, the 13th is when it all shut down.
Yeah. So we know how crazy it was to distribute a vaccine in modern, mostly post-apocalyptic times. How would Jerry and like the 15 Fireflies be able to mass produce this thing and distribute it? And then not only that, what is the incentive? Like, how are they going to convince these people? Fireflies are pointed as radicals.
Yeah. Hey, Kathleen, what's up? I'm Stranger Danger. Jerry, I've got a vaccine for you. Bang. You know what I mean? Like, it would not go well.
No, they're like, oh, where'd you get it? Some dead girl's brain.
Yeah. We smushed some brain up. And now we put it in a syringe.
We had to kill her.
No.
It's just like, the more you think, it's one of those things where it's like, the more you think about it, the more it just doesn't work out.
That's why I'm mostly mad at Marlene.
Yeah.
This is your best friend's daughter.
She believed in it, though. You know, there is something sad about Anna giving Ellie to Marlene and saying, somebody give her, like, protect her, give her to somebody that's going to protect her and love her, which eventually that's Joel, which is beautiful. But Marlene kind of did do that. She fulfilled her promise to her best friend, but in the end, she believed her cause over what she probably should have questioned a little more. And then not only that, in the games, just a side note, you find out a lot of this backstory between like Jerry and like how they're coming up with the vaccine and all this stuff from like recorders and notes that you find from like some of the staff that's there. It's one guy and like he didn't write anything down. So it's like you'd think that like a normal scientist or even med student or doctor would be like, in case I die because there's infected and crazy cannibals around, this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, should have put it in your Palm Pilot, you dummy.
It seems almost a little self-righteous. So I kind of want to question Jerry just a little bit.
And I also think there's something to be said about Marlene, like, grasping on to this idea of maybe someday finding a cure early on in the outbreak, but not being able to see that maybe that opportunity has passed and it's time to focus somewhere else.
20 years. You know, the focus should shift back into taking out the oppressors and getting society back to something more human.
Right.
I just don't see people wanting to. I mean, it's hard to get people to take vaccines now. I don't see people there where it's just a free for all.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, because what is it going to do? It's like most of them are in their little freaking resorts eating people anyway.
I just want to go to Jackson with Tommy. My gosh, I just want to go to movie night.
But so I mean, what did you think? I comment below. Did you agree with Joel? Do you agree with Marlene? Do you agree with Jerry? Do you agree? What do you think? Like, do you think it could have worked? I won't believe you if you say it will, but you can plead your case.
I mean, it would have been such an interesting turn for the character of Joel to finally have had this full circle moment and in the end be like, yeah, that makes sense.
They should have knocked him out more. They should have put a sedative in here.
That's the thing that I mean, I guess the thing is like you had said before, is that she's not aware of the bond that they've created. But I think on some level, she must have really seen Joel as an animal.
Yeah. Well, she knows who he is.
Right. And knows of his past. And so she probably just thought he would always see her as cargo. But he has humanity, which is one of the most beautiful arcs of this entire season, is that Joel is human, is capable of letting down those walls and loving.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's just, it's the Last of Us thing where he's finally opening up and he has a daughter back or has a new daughter and he feels like everything's going to be okay. He's like, I did it. I'm going to save.
And I'm going to get her there.
Yeah. And then it's taken away. And in this world, I feel comfortable saying I don't blame him for what he did. In a more now world in real life, I don't think I could agree with him for killing that many people. They are all complicit in killing this girl. She's a child. She's 14, and they're all complicit in doing that. The intentions are good, but again, trolley problem. The more you think about it, the more it just doesn't make sense. It's all bad.
In the Last of Us world, it is a kill or be killed world.
Yep.
So he didn't have a choice. That's how he had to do it.
Yeah. And I love the decision to have Joel or Pedro, when he's killing all the fireflies to get to Ellie, he just seems so disconnected.
It's detached. Yeah.
He just disassociated himself from doing this because he knows he can, but he knows that what he's doing, he kind of moved past that, but he has to go back to get his future.
Well, here's the thing again, right? Here he is again dealing with losing his daughter.
Yeah. And what is he going to do to make sure that doesn't happen? Because
exactly.
he can't fail again. He's told us this in episodes. We knew this was coming. He was going to do it at all costs.
Right. This is what he wishes he could have done for Sarah.
Yeah.
And so now it's like all those past emotions, that past experience, he goes into like some sort of, I don't know, pre-programmed mode where he just disassociates and knows he just has to plow through all these people to get to her.
Yeah. I mean, it's a harrowing, I love that word, scene, because it's so uncomfortable, but you're also like kind of rooting for him, but also kind of like, Joel, like, yeah, like this is a lot, because he just doesn't, there's nothing there. He finally gets to the operating room, and I like the shots that they did leading up to it. The music was a little muted. It was kind of fuzzy in some areas. So it's very much showing or kind of giving us that tunnel vision.
He's got blinders on.
Yeah. And he gets there, kills the doctor.
Who picks up a scalpel. He's like, I'm not going to let you take her.
Well, he doesn't have a gun.
Bro. Nah.
At least the bone saw. Like, I mean, something that's...
I would say don't even.
Yeah.
Just leave.
Yeah,
if you can.
Take her.
Yeah.
Take her.
Right.
But Joel kills the other people, the other nurses, everything. So I think he was just on autopilot at that moment. Fun little Easter egg, and you find this out if you watch the Inside the Episode or saw any of the Last of Us postings online. But Laura Bailey, who plays Abby in the second game, big character, equal parts story as Ellie. The voice actor, Laura Bailey, is the nurse that's in there. So that's pretty cool. I like that they're just still adding people. They're like, here you go. Yeah. So we know she's not going to be Abby.
Sure. Very true.
Second season.
It's wild to think with the voice actors, right? They're like, oh, you sound like this character. But then when it's like casting them in a live action show, you're like, you don't look like the character.
It's like, you know what? You're not that character.
No. What? How confusing.
Yeah. But he gets Ellie and he is leaving, but not before he takes one more life. And it's Marlene. This parking garage scene is hard. I think it's hard because she's begging him one more time to like realize what he's doing. And she's trying to, again, are the fireflies good? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe.
What is good?
Yeah.
In this world.
In some aspects, maybe they are, because we see what Fedra does to people, but we also see groups that overthrow Fedra. I don't know. I just know that Ellie and Joel are good together and they love each other. And that's what I want. And Marlene wants to take that away.
Right.
She tries everything. She's like, we'll forget about it. We'll let you go. You killed everybody, even the doctor that was supposed to do this. But let's just think about it. How they shot that with in the car, then showing what the choice that he did to kill Marlene. It's so upsetting. And it gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
I think for Joel, in his past, he has done so much that people would see as evil already, that taking these other lives and killing Marlene, well, they're tick marks for him. You know, he doesn't have remorse because it almost feels like in the past, it was more survival. This is more for love.
Right.
So he's willing to do whatever it takes.
You know, part of me thinks that if he really thinks that, why does he lie to Ellie?
I think he doesn't want to disappoint her in any way. He's afraid of her judgment.
Yeah. The scene...
I think he's okay with what he's done, but he doesn't think she will be.
The final scene with them on the cliff, they're back in Jackson. He had the car and was able to take him the full way back to Jackson. You can tell she knows that he's lying or something's not right. He tells her that they tried it. There's other people. It's just not going to work. So your whole life's purpose, this is why you were put on this shitty planet to do. Now you're not important. Like, what are you anymore? And she knows. That's the thing about Ellie that I really like about her character, is that she can tell bullshit. She knows when people aren't being fully truthful. Man, the fact that it's almost like a parent, where it's like you're lying to them to protect them because you love them.
You have to wonder if Marlene said to Ellie, you have to give your life, what Ellie would have chosen.
Well, right.
She might have said, okay.
I don't think Joel would have let her.
No, but Ellie has the autonomy to make those decisions. And I think on the other end of it, Ellie lost everyone she was close to, the person that she loved, for her wanting to save humanity. And she can't do that now.
Yeah, well, she never got the
So for
choice.
her, what was the point of losing everything?
Yeah, she never got the choice.
Right.
They never gave her the choice to do that. And I think that was the fucked up thing. And somebody probably should have just woken her up and asked her, maybe had Joel in the room and had like a little conversation, maybe thinking about not destroying your only test subject. But yeah,
reason doesn't exist in this world.
We shoot first and then ask questions after, apparently.
A very leap before they looked type of situation.
Yeah, the okay that Ellie says, the last word that's really said in this season 1 is, I don't think that she is okaying it like, oh, okay, I believe you.
It's a convincing herself.
It's something. It does feel like something else. Like she just feels so much like, I don't think you're telling me the truth.
I think she knows. She knows. But I think in order to go on, what would be the point of fighting it? So, okay. All right.
Well, she knows they're gone, so.
Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, she doesn't. She doesn't know that they're all dead. Because he doesn't tell her that. He tells her that they tried and they couldn't, so we're going back.
Yeah, and I took you while you were still asleep, so
yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Like nobody's giving this person any choices in anything.
Yeah, he gave her puzzle pieces, but she knows that they don't fit.
Yeah.
That's the point.
This really, if you're questioning why this had to happen and what, like, the shitty decisions and everything like that, this is what sets up the second part. This is a huge driving force. Literally, the decisions in the hospital have big consequences.
Repercussions.
Yeah. And I'm very excited. They've been giving little hints about what they're going to do. I don't know if we're going to get Ellie's story or Abby's story or somebody else's story, because they said it's going to be multiple seasons. So,
yeah, I'm expecting a lot more heart-wrenching storylines, a lot more tears, a lot more decisions of morality. I hope that we get more of these moments of love, more of these moments of finding solace in a world that's burning around you, because I think that's what felt so strong in this season. I would hate to lose that in the second season.
Or they're going to give you more moments of that just so they can take it away.
Well, it seems that's what they like to do. That is true.
I will say, and I'm not sure if it's true. I saw, it's Twitter. And one of the news things were saying that Craig Mazin, the showrunner for the show, said that there is possibly going to be more infected in the second part. And I don't know if that's true or not. I'd be happy for that, because while I think this show is nearly perfect, it could have used a little more. And that's not a big deal breaker for me. I just know, like, oh, they could have. Like, this finale didn't have to be 45 minutes. It could have been a movie length and showing some of the scenes that did lead up to that. There's a whole subway scene. There's stuff like that where it's like they could have. I'm not sure why they didn't do that, but I'd be happy to see more.
I'm with you. I think in a zombie genre, there could have been more of those types of characters.
Yeah.
I agree. I also think that something that's tiring is the human on human violence.
Well.
And deceit. And we could use more human on infected violence.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we're beaten over the head with these very real decisions. Give me a couple of scenes where they're running from, mushroom heads that they have to shoot.
Yeah, it does feel like they really use the infected, because anytime the infected were involved in the show, somebody died.
Mm-hmm.
Started with Tess every single time. So I don't know if they did it to make the infected seem more menacing and more of a, we definitely don't want to be around these and make them more of a threat. But, it is based on a video game and we kill hundreds of them. So
and they traveled for a really long time and we didn't get many scenes of them running from infected. In fact, what did we get? One in the museum outside Boston?
Yeah.
That was really it.
Yeah, that was a cool scene. I liked it.
Exactly. We could have used more.
The clickers in the museum. I loved it.
Cow. Clickety-clack-clack-cow.
But overall, I would say if I had to rate it, people love ratings. So I'm going to give it a rating, and it doesn't matter if you don't agree because everybody has different opinions. I'm going to give it a 9.8.
Yeah.
It's like if there was just the final episode was a little longer and there was just like 4 more scenes of infected, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely not a perfect 10. I think the thing is, for me to be giving it really high praise of in like 8 or 9 out of 10, that's a big deal for me because I don't really love dramas like this, these sort of hour-long, heavy things. But it kept me interested. They did such a good job developing the characters, developing their humanity, that there was a lot for anyone to really enjoy in watching this. But yeah, I needed some more infected.
What's your rating?
8 or 9 out of 10.
You can't do that.
8.5 out of 10.
I could say like a 10 or a 9.
This is half of my podcast, and I can rate it however I want.
Okay. Derek's rating is a 8 or 9.
Thank you.
And mine is a solid 9.8.
Yeah, solid 9.8.
Yeah, I didn't say or 9.2.
Only round numbers.
Yeah.
And I'm giving you 2.
Okay, fine. 9.5.
Not the same.
Is that a round number?
No. Whole numbers.
Oh, okay. And
it's either 9 or 10.
9. Then. Well, but it's more 10. That doesn't count. No.
Oh, so maybe you might want to say 9 or 10, and I would let you do that.
This is the end of the podcast, guys. Last episode.
Goodbye, podcast. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay.
Let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
Let us know if you gave it an 8 or a 9 or a 9 or a 10.
Emotionally and physically exhausted from this show.
From life in general.
But it was good. It was a fun, weird journey. Yeah. Super grateful for it because it happened. It's always weird, like covering shows because it's like, that's it.
Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba.
But like, so yeah, we have some other stuff coming. So look out for that.
Good for you. Good descriptings. Oh my God.
Okay. Spoiler. We're not covering Shadow and Bone season 2.
They're like, we didn't even know you covered Shadow and Bone season 1.
Surprise. We covered Shadow and Bone season 1.
Oh gosh. I'm hoping for Shadow and Bone season 2. It's better than Shadow and Bone season 1.
Right. And that's all we'll say.
End of podcast.
Yeah. Derek gave me like a cut the line. All right. I think that's it for us. Our episode is now longer than the finale of The Last of Us.
We did it.
You're welcome.
We love you. We love you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks for listening to A Bite of. Artwork and editing by our own Noah. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at A Bite of Pod, and on Facebook at A Bite of. If you have any questions, recommendations, or just want to say hi, you can contact us on abiteofpod.com. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to spread the word. See you next time on A Bite of. Bye.